Hello and welcome. I am Candy. I am your business coach and systems specialist. And for today's training, we're going to really deep dive into what I wish I knew before I started my business. And if I had had this laid out clearly for me, I think I would have been a lot kinder to myself, had a lot more compassion around where I was at, what was required, and what I was actually getting in for. So today I want to share that with you. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Amazing. Hopefully you can see that. So this is my business architecture uh, framework, shall we say. So we've got all of these different branches that really are foundational if you're going to grow and scale your business, not only sustainably, but successfully. And most organizations who have achieved that have these pieces in place, and they usually have hired or outsourced or delegated a different branch to this based on a different person's expertise, experience, skill set, etc. So if you're starting your own business, whether you like it or not, you actually need to grow and develop all of these skill sets, which feed into the bigger picture of how your business fits together, how it works, what are all the moving pieces, and what are the skills that you actually need to learn in order to do this successfully. So often when we start our business, it's usually because we have a desire in our heart, or there's something we're passionate about, we see a gap in the market, and usually it comes down to this method and service delivery that we love. We've found a modality, we love educating, we've built a skill set that we know we can help others with, but sadly, that is not enough. That is only one branch of what it requires in order to build a successful business. So we're going to go around and speak very briefly and high level kind of overview about what is required at every step in order for this all to click into place. And so that you can go into this with eyes wide open and have realistic expectations, most importantly, on yourself. So we're going to start at the top here and look at brand strategy and business model. So this is like the overview of your business around what's the format, what is the business structure that you're going to create? Is it one-on-one? Is it group? Is it a product? Is it a subscription model? Is it a license? Is it in-person retreats? Is it a digital product? Like, how do you want to structure the high-level vision of the business, and how is that going to work? What is the strategy behind that? Then we want to move around into positioning and pricing. And this is looking like, okay, who do we want to serve? Who is my work most valuable to? And who is it not a good fit for? So we want to differentiate. We want to get clear on what the scope is, who this is for, who this is not for, what it might include and what it might not include, where they need to be at on their journey in order for this to be the best fit for them, and getting really clear on who that is, what their circumstances are, and who we want to serve the most. So this is positioning. This is who we're serving. This is who is the ideal client for this business model, the structure, and everything that we're creating. Next, we move around to offers and services. So this is what we're creating together and why with your clients. How are you going to deliver that? What do they want to buy? What's the end vision? Where are we taking them in terms of their journey? And who do they want to become at the end? Or what do they want to create? And why do they care about it? Why do they want this? Because if we don't have an end destination, we don't really know where we're driving, then you're really going to struggle to sell this service for more than like $100, for example. So we want to know what we're creating and why, and how we're going to package that into our offer or services, and having that piece nailed. Then we want to move down to our method and our service delivery. So this is your modality. This is how do I get this person from A to B? What are the steps that they need to learn? What do they need to embody? What habits and behaviors do they need to change? What do they need to implement in their life or in their business, depending on where and who you're serving? What does that process look like? How am I going to drive them to this destination and support them on that process? How are we getting there? How are we getting to the destination? Then we move around to systems and client experience. So this is about What is it like to be on the receiving end of your work and all of these steps up until here? Is it clear? Is it professional? Is it seamless? Is it organized? Is it smooth and seamless and flowing? What's the customer experience like? And also, how was that for you to deliver in terms of systems? Is that automated? Is it streamlined? Do you have templates? And are you able to, serve and bring more and more people without that being completely overwhelming and meaning like a long list of admin tasks for you? How do we make that a seamless, professional, and organized experience for those who are receiving your work and coming into your world? Next around, we have marketing and messaging, and this is about building your community and relationships. This is where you start sharing your message, what your philosophies are, starting to build those connections, making those connections with people, whether that's through networking, it might be social media, it could be through SEO, through your website, through a podcast, through whatever avenue that you choose to take. This is where you start sharing your message and starting to serve and building community and building relationships and building those connections. And then we move around to your sales process and conversion. So when someone is like, yes, they've seen all these other pieces and they're like, oh my God, I want to work with you. What does that look like? How do I make a payment? Is there a sales call? How do we move through that process together? What does that look like? Then once I've said yes, how does that happen? How do we seamlessly, again, make that a smooth and seamless process? And then we move around to leadership, boundaries, and capacity, because realistically, all of these skill sets need to be developed. So if you are tapped out, you can't do all of these things. So you need to have clear leadership. You need to be the one driving this vision. You need to have clear boundaries around your priorities, your availability, who you're serving, who you're not serving, where that bleeds over into your personal life and how that impacts things and what's going on behind closed doors and how that's impacting your capacity to serve, to stay focused, to drive the mission. And ultimately, you get to a point where you're earning enough money that you're able to outsource some of these different branches. But the reality is that for a lot of us, when you're starting your business, you don't have the capital to invest necessarily in outsourcing these yet. So there may be a period of your business where you have to learn these skills and do these yourself until you get to a point where you are in a position to be able to hand this on to somebody else and outsource and hire other people. So you want to keep in mind, though, that even if that's your end game, your vision that you want to be able to outsource, you want to think about, do I have the structures and systems and places as I go? Am I building this with the mindset that eventually I won't be the one doing this task? So how can I keep that in the back of my mind as I'm doing and learning this aspect of my business, so that I can, set that up so that whoever does step into this down the track, I have the resources, the systems in place in order to be able to seamlessly onboard somebody else to hire and delegate this aspect of my business. So that's kind of the overview of all of the architecture that you actually need in order to grow and scale your own business. So the reality is that often, as I said in the beginning, it's usually because we love our service delivery, and that's why we want to start a business. So really, you need to understand that it's going to take time for you to build all of those skill sets. So it's a very wise idea to not just take a leap and leave behind all form of financial security, because the reality is that you need to learn those skill sets, and that's going to take time. So if you've seen online people saying things like, I've had my first 10K months and it was just so easy, usually it's because they have invested nearly 10 years building all of those different skill sets, or they spent a lot of their corporate career developing those skill sets. So they may have a background in sales, they might have a background in marketing, they might have a background in strategy. So, they've just had to plug a few of those gaps in, kaboom. So I really want to just paint the bigger picture of the reality so that you're going in with eyes wide open. You have realistic expectations on yourself, on the fact that, if you dive into service delivery and you put your heart out there and you start your business and it doesn't like immediately blow up, that doesn't mean that it's not for you. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that there's one of these other avenues that hasn't been addressed or plugged. There's a skill set that you need to develop and learn yet. And so that's part of the journey. It's part of the process that's going to take time. So can you love the journey? Is that what you're signing up for? Are you open and willing to go on that journey? Or are you better fit to stay in service delivery mode and to go and do that as part of somebody else's business while you learn those skill sets? Or actually, it's just not for me. I don't actually want to go and learn all of those skills. So I really wish someone had so explicitly spelled this out to me in the beginning of my business, because I would have been a lot less hard on myself when I was like, what am I not getting? I don't know what I don't know yet. And I would have been a bit more like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to learn. Amazing. It's not me that's the problem. It's just, this is where my gaps are, and this is where I need to invest my time and energy, and go and get some training in these areas in order for my business to really work. So I know this is going to be like, I really want to hear from you in the comments below. Which step stood out for you? What were the major ahas that just dropped and like blew your mind and were like, oh my God, I wish I had seen this sooner? Where are your greatest gaps and opportunities? And let me know in the comments which one is landing for you. I cannot wait to serve you with more amazing resources in this free community. So let me know what lands, and I will speak to you in the comments below.